in the classroom only, right? So, yeah, if you're the teacher in the school, you know that. How does that work for you? Hope it works great. What about beginners? Ever taught a beginner class? Use language 2 only. Well, when I got here a little bit of over a year ago, I think, I was like, hey, I'm accepting students, upper, intermediate, and advanced proficiency and above to YouTube and I was streaming on Insta, so the version of this will be on the Instagram. We had some technical issues here, so I really apologize for that. And in case you need the full version, it will be on Insta, while we just basically shared some stories with the viewers there. Body and facial language, facial expressions are there to help. Exactly. You have to have the sketchy personality. If you don't have it, you have to know how to mimic and how to, basically play charades, right? If you would. Right. So when I started, I was like, okay, I'm accept upper intermediates to advanced, and that's it. The system kept matching me with students of those levels. Everything was great. People came to, get rid of fossilized mistakes, to just give a little shine to their amazing language command, right? Nobody came from English from ground zero. Yes, beginners level A1, amazing. So if you had an experience, could you please just share a few words about it? How does it work for you? One day the system matched me with a student, and I had no idea who that person was. I messaged him. It was a him, and I got a response that, no Russian, that I don't really speak it, so it's okay to not speak it with me. I was like, okay, sure, let's have this class. And when I get to the classroom, turns out the person does not understand spoken English. That was awkward. It was an error. Basically, it was just an error, a system fluke. Upper intermediate to advanced in his file. Then we start talking. He waves his hand at me and says, dismissingly, and it's like, I don't understand you. You can stop talking about yourself. I don't need any of that. I was like, okay. A few awkward, just phrases back and forth. And I say, I'm 3 years old. And he goes and he just got lit. His face literally lights up, and he goes, I'm 24. And he got so happy about it. It was a phrase that some teacher a long time ago taught him in the classroom. And he was so happy to use it in conversation. He was like, oh, I think I'm speaking to a foreigner. I think it's me, and I think I used something I know. And we just burst out laughing, both of us. And, well, later on, we kind of figured it out. So he is an upper interim right now. And when he came, it was last winter. He's a very hardworking student. Let's get to him. But I guess language 2 only is really efficient. I use notes, I use the word cards, I use the whiteboard, I drew, I sang, I danced. I mean, you guys know about the TPR, you know about bringing reality to the classroom, all these things. I'm going to talk about eliciting a little bit later, quite a long stream today. So yeah, got out here for a while. Before I go on with another little story, I just present in the beginning that I'm going to walk you through eliciting in a little bit more detail. Thanks for the likes. And later I'm going to conclude with my experience in language 2 only classroom. Right. I do not demonize using your mother tongue in the classroom. I just don't do it. Right. I do not want you to get me wrong. A lot of people do that. There are valid reasons to do so, aren't there? It's just we cannot speak every language in the world, can we? Okay. So, still waiting for your stories of how your first awkward class came. Oh, hi. It's nice to listen to you. It's really, really great to have you here, Arena. Well, and our student, I was like really brave at this point. And I was just, hey, low intermediate student, scientist, who was in the US once in his life because he was in some sort of a experience exchange program. He can talk, he can understand, but he can understand much more than he can talk, right? Education was kind of funny, so it was a little hard for me to understand everything he wanted to say. But he was confident. So in this case, I was saying a lot of things back to him. He would say a phrase. I would just check with him, is this what you were saying? Am I getting this right? To really employ a lot of active listening strategies there. What's the topic? Oh, for those who have just connected, I'm talking, what if they don't speak English? ESL to beginners. And yeah, using zero mother tongue in the classroom, how we can do that and if that's possible. Well, that thing, right? Then the teacher talking time was kind of high. And the student talking time was okay too, right? Then it worked. The active listening helps establish the bond there, right? Then I started pulling up different US realia that he could relate to, that he could just, smile about, be happy about. And yeah, we were discussing that, like president is on which banknote, and do you remember that? And like how houses look, how the streets look. We've been to the same cities. That helped a whole lot. So being there emotionally is very taxing, right? Those first few classes, oh my gosh, they're exhausting. But they love it. And finally, just how it gives back is just amazing, right? So yeah, that student, his pronunciation improved really fast because he used to mimic and he used to speak like I speak. And yeah, the progress was really, really fast. You want to be liked and it's good. All right. Yeah, maybe. Not really a praise junkie, but I'm just a happy person, I guess. Well, do you hate to be liked? That was a question in the chat there. Oh, well, yeah. That's mainly my policy with students. I'm not trying to be trying to give them this understanding that, yes, I hear you. And yes, I'm helpful. So please don't be shy, be confident. Turn into that English speaking machine faster. Right? And yeah, and we're going to get there. All right. Before zero beginners, you have to pre-teach them functional phrases, right? The instructions, the classroom instructions. So take a bit of time apart to do that, right? Before you are planning to jump into this sort of. Then use all the tools, like with EdTech, it's much easier than offline. Offline has its own like good points. Online has its own good points, right? You can share a screen, you can Google something. If nothing, Google Translate. Well, try not to employ that a lot because it basically breaks the skill of a person to think in a language too, right? Yeah, well, some are so stubborn. Yes, there's a lot of resistance. I agree with you. They just don't want to switch to language too, even though they're 8 too. What am I to do in this case? Advice, please. In case they are stubborn, you need to get to the root cause of what is happening. So they are stubborn because they are shy. They have a foreign language anxiety. They are stubborn because there's just a stigma in their brain that language must be studied as a bunch of syntax, right? And lexes, the grammatical approach, right? This is how Marians study it, right? So the zero language one in the classroom approach, or minimal language one in the classroom, is not a grammatic approach. They learn chunks, like little songs, chunks of words, right? Sometimes they do not fully understand the meaning. They just learn what's the English for? What's the English for, right? They do not really know what every word means there. And if your student is already A2, they might as well stop being a grammarian. They might as well try to use that language, right? What I do, I basically ignore when they talk to me in their native tongue, even if I know it, right? And when people start talking to me in German or in Chinese, I basically go like, I understand, and I start speaking in English back to them, slowly breaking it down to them that the classroom looks like this, that communicative approach is just the thing that works, that education around the world, language classrooms are built on that now, right? And that other way, it really is not that efficient. They come to get the result, right? They pay to be there, and they probably want their result. Stubbornness won't be a way here, probably. But yeah, there's resistance. It takes about a week for them to warm up to that. They hate you for a while. But thanks for the question. Then, then I was like, yeah, now I'm invincible, elementary. Talking only my Skyeng experience here. I'm not touching updates of various mother tongues I've had before. I briefly only mentioned that. So yeah, and then there was an absolute beginner. Let's go bring it. So I did that student. He was Israel, and so his first language is Hebrew, which I do not know. I don't speak, and I know how to say like what Happy New Year. Basically, that's all. With him, it went so smooth you won't believe it. So I used all the eliciting techniques, and he was an imposter, right? Nobody is an absolute beginner. Like nobody is a true beginner, right? There's this coined term that a true beginner is a person who has zero competence in the language. Everyone knows, welcome. Everyone knows the ABCs. Everyone knows the www.com. Everybody knows how, like, what we name the everyday objects. This is a car. It's a picture. There's a car in a picture. Everybody can understand that. As long as you speak loud and clear, as long as you try to minimize the accent, to tune and hone it to their understanding. Hello from Kazakhstan. Hello there. That'll be easy. So I ran into that other room a lot to bring an iron, or to bring a hair tie, or to bring, I don't know, a potted plant to show them the realia, right? The problem is you don't have all the realia, right? So the only true beginners basically are small children. It's great to study it via realia, like with them, right? And that works. It works with grown-ups too. So what are some other ways you guys could explain a potted plant or hair tie without going into explaining the definition? Because that works for higher levels only. Just given the context, so they don't get it and you cannot show it. So what do you do? What do you think here? So I need to drink a bit of that here. Bubble tea is an absolutely amazing a game changer here. Hi, hello, Zally English teacher. So, okay, guys, we're trying to share here. What if you cannot bring the realia? Like I'm teaching a person bubble tea. So this is bubble tea, right? And I do not have the object. So it's a tea with bubbles. Now, what are the bubbles, right? They know tea, that's for sure, because again, reiterating, nobody is an absolute biggest point, right? Everybody knows table, chair, car, tea, bed, I don't know, like all the everyday objects around. Hi, what's your name? My name is Marney, and I work in Skyeng and in various projects. Let's just put it this way. Well, while you're thinking, I'm going to speak about eliciting techniques a little more, right? We can give a lot of context, right? That you like to drink bubble tea, that it tastes sweet, that it can come in different flavors, it can come in different colors, right? It's in a cup with a straw, and you can mention the countries where it comes from. So you gave all this context, they still don't get it. What do you do? Picture, of course. You can draw, especially in an online setting. I highly advise you to, like pimp up the drawing skill, because everybody can draw a cup with bubbles at bottom, or for that matter, any everyday object, which will be really easy to guess, right? Share screen, just pull up in the Google search bubble tea, or just anything that you're teaching. Yes, Marney, that's how I spell Marney. Hey. I am, and I'm a German national, but I've been educated in the American system. So yes, I speak American daily at work, with my family, with my friends. So I consider myself part of the culture. So well, then gestures, sounds, bubble. That's right. You can do that. Exactly. Thank you. Thanks, Linguipston. I am really, really like with how you participate. Thanks. With higher levels, though, what can you do? So you can give your sounds, gestures, draw your pictures, do a little dance. Then you can give a definition. What else? Give more context, right? Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Ja, spreche ich Deutsch. Wir haben sie Deutsch gelernt. Through my dad, mainly, my German side of the family. Well, you can play with the word family, right? Excuse me, I'm like picking this up all the time. It keeps falling down. Yeah, well, there is a way around it through the word family. They may know, like, astonishingly. Gosh, that's a big word, right? Do you know the word stone? Stone, right? You're stoned. Okay, you're still not mean astonished, but you can kind of play with that there. So breaking it down into small parts. Yeah, not so much grammar in this. It's more of an active, interactive, fun, happy teaching here, right? Even if it's online, it works too. It works with small kids. So that elementary student I taught has passed an exam. He's a trained engineer, so he's already done that. So we went from elementary to, well, at least a very solid intermediate. And he can speak about his professional sphere very, very well. You do not need a person's mother tongue to teach a person the second language. Well, there might be debate, right? Because if you had zero exposure to education per se, you may not grasp some concepts such as nouns or verbs or just subjects, objects that well. We can elicit, yes, we can elicit it from them. Exactly. We're talking eliciting. We can go, and this is sprint. That's right. We can like set the first sounds out, and they could easily guess. Yeah, by comparing some words. All right, that's true. We can do right. The hyponym technique is, so what's a pet? Pet cats, pet dogs, pet hamsters, and fish. So what's a pet? What pet do you have? And they will come up with the idea that, oh, that's the generic word for something you keep at home, like a kitty or a puppy, right? There. Then you can use antonyms or synonyms in a really easy way, right? So it's not short, so it's tall, right? And it even works for higher levels. Like if you're explaining the word, what can you explain? If you're explaining a divorce, you can say, so you're not married, so you're divorced, right? Things like that. CCQs come in later. Exactly. Thank you so much. The concept checking questions come in later. Do you ask a student, hey, did you get it or not? Because the main consensus is mainly no, you don't really ask them that, because they will be like, yeah, right, I taught Asians, they nod their heads happily, they do not understand anything. So, I mean, not like anything. In some cases, when they don't get it, they will not say that they did not get it, right? Russian learners are really cool about it. They say, I didn't get it. So that's good. Either they should tell you that they got it, then you stop your eliciting there, or you ask your questions, right? Is everybody familiar with the term CCQ, concept checking question? What are they? What do we need that, right? What is it? Throw a plus or a thumbs up if you do, if you know that. Guess you do. Well, in case you don't, those are simple questions like for understanding. How concept checking stands for itself, kind of speaks for itself. You say, you may ask a yes or no question, right? And the answer should probably be no, because if you just ask this question and then they say yes, no way for you to understand, right? So when you're hopping, are you hopping very high? The answer is no. No, hop is just a little hop, right? And you can contrast it by using the word jump, like jump versus hop, right? Again, with small children, it works like the TPR approach, the total physical response approach works a bit better. Even for functional phrases, do you hear me, right? Stuff like this. Works with grown-ups too. Thanks. As yeah, you heard of the CCQs, of course. Yeah, well, you can ask the who, what, when, where. So when do people hop? When they're really happy, or when they're jumping a jump rope and things like this, right? There are a lot of kinds of them. I mean, Google's a good friend here. Then, oh yeah, the people can go to the workshop devoted to the concept checking questions, say CCQs, right? So yes, check their understanding, please, if they really got it right. At higher levels, the main concept checking technique would be to just ask them to make a sentence, right? To just create an utterance where they will showcase their understanding. Okay. So, the classroom. How would you feel if you got into this type of classroom? How would that feel? Would you think, oh, wow, that's new? Or would you rather say, okay, targeted questions presented after lesson to measure understanding, right? So sort of a little survey. What did you understand? What did you not? It works before starting a course of lessons with a student too, because they may have, like one of the viewers have promptly mentioned, may not be okay with the idea of one language only. Let's begin with that, right? They may be stubborn or resistant or irritated. They may hate you for that a little bit. But then you just surprise them with one word in their language that you know, and they're like, oh, she understood me all this time. It helps to build rapport, right? It helps to build positive rapport too. I'm not demonizing using language one. I've reiterated this many, many times, right? I do not agree that we should use it a lot. Use it. So I'm mostly talking about cases here today that I've encountered and how I deal with zero beginners or elementary or low intermediate for that matter in the classroom, the language of like the mother tongue of whom I do not speak. Okay. They come out of their shells eventually, right? So then, yeah, as far as I'm going to, like, while it's a little pause, I'm checking the questions. I'm answering all the questions in the Instagram like right away, and as the other platforms, we do not have any there. So I believe I'll just continue rambling, right? Well, I've asked a little question. What would you feel if you got into a type of classroom where the teacher shows things, where the teacher tries to explain without resorting to your mother tongue, right? Where they ask if you understood stuff. I personally had that experience. Everybody's like free to share what you guys think. I had that experience, and while you're submitting, I'll talk about it. And you, right? Well, when I got into this type of classroom, I was really baffled. I was, what's going on? Well, my family did this to me when I was little. Like, since I was a baby, everybody spoke different things to me. So I was like, whoa, what's going on? I began talking early, but it wasn't a language. It was a mishmash of things. Actually, I'm going to do a stream on trilingual development because neurolinguistics is my major. So I know quite a little bit about tri and bilingual brains. I own one, and I'm particularly going to speak about bi and trilingual children in one of my streams. Lead in, using familiar constructions, thank you, to make them feel more comfortable. Yes, of course, like that always has to be. So the structure of this type of class has to be really well thought over. When you're really experienced, it comes easier, right? You just shoot out those lead-ins and follow-ups and CCQs and pow, 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 mimic, antonym, synonym, hyponym, boom. But at first, yeah, you have to plan really, really well. So yeah, my classroom, I was okay with like people saying things that I don't understand, but the weird point was that it was in Chinese, so that's a different level of baffled, right? Then, you know what? Like, there are no international words. International, air quotes. So you're teaching somebody who speaks Germanic, Slavic language. It's an e-gig for one simple reason that there would be words that sound quite similar. A variety of languages, the so-called international words or words with international roots. Then in Asian languages and in many more, we do not have that crutch, right? So a lot of baffled. We're improving as trilinguals here in Kazakhstan. Thumbs up for that. So I believe you're speaking Kazakh language, Russian language, and English language, right? I assume that's true. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, thumbs up for that. That's amazing. Yeah, I hope I'll see you in the following stream that will be devoted to that topic. All right. Yeah, those instructors in the Chinese classroom, they did not bother with CCQs. They were like, I'm just gonna speak, and I'll see how much you can get from it. Then, yeah, you can check your understanding there outside. So go fly free, right? And see if you got it right, if the people outside of the school understand you or not. So no crutches, right? Yeah, I'm saying right quite a lot. I'm so sorry for that catchphrase, I guess. So, well, we were silent. We were scared. We were a lot of people from different countries in one classroom. And by the end of the first week, we started coming out of our shells a little. started to get more and more responsive. When I didn't understand something, I just boldly said it back to the teacher. I mimicked what the teacher said. And I was like, at least I'm working on my pronunciation, even if I have no idea what we're talking about here. And you know what? In under a month, we all were able to travel. We were able to go see a doctor, and we were level. We were still, but we were at least, surviving in the environment. So that was good. And believe me or not, in under a month, everybody passed a B1, an HSK, like the proficiency test. Next year, the major began, and this confidence just vanished, unfortunately. But yeah, okay, if you're coming with a B1 expertise to a proficiency classroom, you might feel a little uncomfortable, right? So basically, this is how a child develops, right? And this is how they feel when they're developing speech. I am a big fan of John Holt. John Holt, yes, that's the name. He has a series of books of how people learn, how brains learn, how people fail, how children learn. And he has a great example there. And yeah, I can see it with my own child and the friends of, like with children of other people I know. You're the best. Thank you. You are the best. Okay. Patty.math for 10. They just hear grown-ups say things. Pass me the salt, say the grown-ups at the table. And one day your 2.5-year-old says, pass me the salt. And you pass them the salt because they asked you to. Because in the grown-up world, it's a request. That means salt has to move to the child if they're asking for it. In the 2.5-year-old's brain, it means, oh, I'm just gonna say what the grown-up is saying, and I'll see what happens, right? And then you pass them the salt, and then they're like, whoa, that's what it means. Okay, so that object moves to me if I say, can you pass? And then they switch the word salt for sugar, and then you pass them the sugar, then you pass them the chocolate. Then, yeah, you pass them their own your whole life. So, all right. And this is what we were doing in our Chinese practice. And this is what a lot of my students were doing, like in the early years when I did not bother with the sysakus and things like this. They were basically saying things back to me. And I noticed that. I did my homework. And yeah, you have to be prepared for this type of a classroom. Well, right, I do not think we have any more participants here. The stream is quite a long one today. In case you have any questions, things to share, thing on the topic, or concerned with the following streams, I'm happy to answer. Sorry, I'm late. What's the theme of your monologue? We're wrapping up, actually. The topic is, what if they don't speak English? Teaching ASL to zero beginners, or the so-called zero beginners who, well, there are no zero beginners in this world. At the moment, everybody has been exposed to the language, right? Everybody has had some sort of a language experience. So we're mainly talking that. We've discussed eliciting techniques. We've discussed cases, right? And people have been submitting their stories. Right now, I'm wrapping up saying that, reiterating again that I'm not making of language one on horrible language one in the classroom. If you're putting the language down, language one, the native tongue of your students in the classroom, they may react really, really negatively to that. And nobody should ever do that, of course. I've seen people introducing a punishment for anyone uttering a phrase in their native language or asking a classmate. They were supposed to do it or make a sentence or do push-ups. I don't know. And that's not okay, right? Because it puts down the native tongue of a person, which we should not do. I should reiterate that in case of not being able to resort to a person's mother tongue, you help them much faster. Results. They can see the results much faster as well, and pronunciation improves really quick as well, right? Of course, it's a method. I'm only going over the good things about it. Like I never said that there is good to the fact that, hey, they have the basic syntax in their head, right? Yeah, they do, right? And they've been to the formal education setting before. They know what's a noun. They know what's a verb. They know what's a subject. They know what an object. Well, it's easier to teach them, right? Because they have the basics as well. Oh, let's see how much more time we've got here. Yeah, we're basically going to wrap it up, right? Could you tell what scaffolding is the most preferred? I pre-teach vocab. I try to, in case I do not have access to then I don't pre-teach. Then I try to teach it before the activity. Then I taught workshops on Skyeng, and I in one of my webinars, I highly advocated for the show and tell technique as well, right? I just tried to tap into their knowledge as much as I could and to form a bond, sort of, right? Yeah, basically that's my scaffolding. And I've gave examples before. I've mentioned a lot of that. I have a class coming up with one of those ESL low intermediates. So we're going to be wrapping it up here. It was really, really, really nice to see everybody. Let me check the questions on here just one more time. Nope, no questions either on YouTube or on the VK platform. So we're all done here. Then I think all done as well. It was great to see you all. It's always amazing. I have more streams. One is my usual, the pronunciation show. So I may make a really quick announcement here, which is, hey, come to my pronunciation show. We're gonna do more cases of interesting accents, and we're going to discuss techniques of how to work on that. And there's going to be a little surprise there too. Well, thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I probably did not mention the fact that in case the word is in a different register or stylistically different from its synonym, from its most popular synonym, then yeah, we do like to use Language One a lot, but I mostly covered lower levels in this stream. So that's why I did not go into all the good things mother tongue gives us. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We have a lot of teaching accounts here today. I could see from the name of the account, we have a lot of teachers too. Well, all right. I'm going to be wrapping it up. Sorry one more time and for contact tape because it's there was a problem with connection, I suppose, or the problem with the Restream platform. Thanks a lot. I'll see you all. I will save this one and come to more streams. Everybody have a blast. Everybody have an amazing, amazing day, evening, morning, whatever is ahead of you, whichever tone you are watching me from. Love y'all. See ya. Bye-bye.